Hey everybody, I just wanted to take a little bit of time to give you an overview of my Canvas page, kind of give you a little tour, because obviously with remote learning, this is going to be the primary means by which we're going to get the things that we need to get for class, and where I'm going to put the resources and the material and everything that we're going to be using in class remotely. But actually, even when we come back to a partial um, school day where some of you will come and then others of you will come on other times, and we'll rotate that through. Or hopefully, when we come back to a full school, Plan A under the state plan, I still use Canvas quite a bit, and it's still going to be the launching point from which everything we do in class for each day is going to kind of be housed. So understanding how to use Canvas is going to be essential, not only while we're remote, but even when we do come back into the building. And so I want to make sure that we all understand kind of how my page works. I'm going to try to keep it as simple as possible, but there are going to be some things that watching this video hopefully will help you kind of navigate through and be able to use the Canvas the best you can. Now, one thing that you're going to notice about Canvas this year is CMS really wanted to try to make as much of it uniform for all the teachers as possible. One of the things they got from feedback from the spring was teachers did things so differently that it was confusing for students and parents sometimes to try to figure out, okay, this teacher uses Google Classroom, this teacher uses Canvas, this teacher uses Canvas in this way, is this one uses it in a different way. So they're trying to make it a little bit more uniform. So what you're going to notice is that at least the initial pages and some of the navigation in Canvas is going to be very similar from one class to the next. After you get through that, it may be a little bit different. And I kind of tell students it's like coming into a classroom. All the doors in the building work the same way, they look the same, and it's obvious that that's a door and that's where you enter. And that's kind of what these initial pages in Canvas are meant to be with each teacher. Now, once you kind of get through the door, you're going to notice some differences. I mean, obviously, you can tell it's a room and there's some similarities, but there's going to be some differences, and especially how things work in those rooms. And it's the same with these Canvas pages. As you get into the Canvas page, you're going to notice that things may be a little different from one teacher to the next, but the initial way you get in and the way it navigates is pretty much going to be the same for everybody. Now, the first thing that I want you to notice is that it is Honors Physics 1, and you all should have access to that class by now. Hopefully, you do. We're going to get everybody on there that's not on there, but it's going to be essential because everything we're going to do is going to come through this Canvas page, so you need to make sure you know where it is and how to get into it every day. So the opening page will look the same for everybody, and it just basically has who this classroom is. I've put a little introductory video of myself on there. It's only about a minute and a half, 2 minutes long. Tells you a little bit about myself and what I've been doing and just kind of what I'm looking forward to. This video, when I get done with it, will be housed right here. And then underneath of that, you're going to see a number of buttons. Now, the buttons on the right side, the Canvas navigation, the support resources, and the digital citizenship, are going to be pretty much uniform for every teacher. And these are just resources for you if you need a little bit more help in Canvas besides what I'm showing you now. And then other support resources. And then the digital citizenship is something we're going to be doing through our SEL, just to make sure that we're all understanding how to use the technology in the best way. It's the stuff on the left and then this button underneath that you're really going to be using specifically for my class. Now, this live lessons button, if you click on that, what you're going to see is that there's a table, and it's going to have the dates for the week. And I'm only going to put the dates for 1 week up there. And it has each block, including the SEL block and the lunch block. But what's going to be housed in these spaces here, which I haven't put in yet, are going to be where you're going to go for the live session, because every class I'm going to start out with talking to you or teaching you something or having a discussion or some kind of live, what we're going to call synchronous teaching, where you're going to see my face, you're going to hear my voice. Sometimes that's going to be done through Canvas conferences. Sometimes I may choose to do that through Zoom, because I want to have breakout sessions, and it's a little bit easier with Zoom to do that. Sometimes it may be Google Meet, especially if we're going to have more people than either of those other two kind of allow for. If we're doing something in SEL and we want the whole 10th grade in there, we may go to Google Meet. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the links to whatever I want you to go that day here. So if you're saying second block in my second period class, and it says go to Zoom, I'll have the Zoom link here. So you're going to start out class at 10:20 or by 10:20. You should be on the Zoom link or whatever link I have here. And if it's a Canvas conference, I may just tell you to go to conferences, and that button will be available to you at that time. But you're going to go to whatever link that is or wherever it tells you to go for that day. So that's where you're going to go for the live lessons. Now, go back to home. The other two buttons here, the grading and the teacher information, are really just snippets of what's already in my syllabus, and I'm going to talk to you about the syllabus a little bit. But grading and the teacher information, those are things that are found in a syllabus. I just separated them out. They wanted us to do that as well. So what's in those two buttons basically is what is going to be in a syllabus, which I'm going to show you next. So my syllabus, click on that. And there's a couple of things that I want you to be aware of here. First of all, my contact information. I've given you my phone number. It's a Google phone number, but it does go to my phone like normal. So if you call that number or you text that number, I will get the message. And that's going to be a great way to get a hold of me if you want to text, or I'm going to have a remind actually also. And a remind would be the easier thing because it alerts me even better. But if you need to talk to me, like you need to actually talk to me, call that number. Jumping down here, remind, I will also be using, and most people like to text nowadays. So if you get on your phone and you just put that in there, that'll sign you up for the Seek and CTEC 2020-2021 remind for specifically your class for me. So that'll be for just me and my class. So just be aware of that. If you'd rather get emails or use the computer for that, you are welcome to do that too. If you'd rather not get the text from me, you'd rather get the notifications on the computer, there's ways to access that as well. Here's my email. And a lot of times I'm going to be asking you to submit assignments through Canvas. Sometimes you may want to email me something, or if you want to contact me that way, that's another way to do it. But that's how you're going to get to my email. Now, we are going to sometimes use a physics textbook. The access to the textbook is this link here, and the student code is found right there. So when you get into the, and it's an online physics textbook, and there are some things I'm going to ask you to do out of there, so you need to be able to get into that. But that's where you're going to go for it, and then the code you can just cut and paste when it asks you for the student code. And I think after the first time you do it, you won't have to do it again, but I can't remember exactly. Here's a course description. I'm not going to read that to you, but I will tell you that physics is very mathematical. And so you got to be comfortable with math. That's all I'm going to tell you. Your first semester will be POE, physics, math, and English, or social studies. And if you think about it, that's 3 out of your 4 classes will be math-based and very heavily math-based. So you got to be comfortable with math in this program. My grading policy is here. Biggest thing I want you to understand is for unit tests or any major tests, I do let you retest. There is a contract that I'm going to ask you to fill out, and there's a few things I'm going to ask you to do if you do want to retest, but I let you retest for any grade you want. If you got a B and you really wanted an A, I'm going to let you retest. Now, I'm only allowed to give you up to 79, so it really wouldn't make sense to do that. But even if you were like at a B and you wanted an A, I can give you some points in other places to make sure that that's kind of made up. So the only thing is, if you're going to retest for me, you got to do it within a couple of weeks of the original test. The supplies that I need are here. Again, I'm not going to read those. It's pretty standard. One thing, you may want to definitely get a calculator. And then the course format, I'm going to let you read all of this. One of the things I do use is CK12. I'm going to be giving assignments through that, so you need to sign up for CK12 as soon as you can once you kind of get through this stuff. And then you can read through that about how I'm going to use that. And then the rest of it is the course layout, kind of what we're going to be doing when. Now, going back to home, the button underneath of here, enter here, we're going to be doing basically 14 units. Now that's not all been published yet because I'm still working on that, but I can show you what you're going to see is really in the modules here. And you'll notice that when you click on the modules, the retesting contract and the things that you need to do are here. And we'll talk more about that as we get into class in the next few days. There's some reference materials here too, but you notice each unit has lessons, and that button that you clicked home here, this circle button that says enter here, it's going to actually take you to the different lessons for that unit. I'm going to probably change those buttons. Instead of saying lesson, it's going to say unit 0, day 1, day 2, 3, and so on, instead of saying and lesson. I don't know if I can change the button itself, but once you click on the button that says lesson 1, it may tell you day 1. I'd prefer to do things by the day, so you know if we're okay, we're in the second day of that unit, third day of that unit, and so on. And when you click on those, what's going to happen is it's going to pretty much tell you what we're going to be doing for that day, and then I will spell out what we need to do. And of course, I'm going to be meeting with you at the beginning of class every day, and I'll go over that stuff with you. But I do want you to be aware. All of that's under modules, and that's going to be the easiest place to access that. You can go through this button here that says enter here. That's going to work as well, but if you want to bypass that, just go right to the modules, because the reference material for class, some of the data tables and stuff that you'll need, the retesting materials, all of that's going to be under modules anyway. And then okay, we're on day 2 of lesson 0. You can just click on day 2 and so on. So that's kind of an overview of Canvas. It's a very quick overview, I understand, but it is basically how you're going to use it. And if you have any questions, of course, I want you to definitely reach out to me. But I just wanted to give you a quick overview of how to use this page, because it will be very important to do that as we move forward.